And that brings me to my next question. And a very wise man in our field many years ago said that pain is a liar. And it took me a little bit to understand that, but it's absolutely true. All pain tells you is there's something wrong somewhere. It doesn't tell you what's wrong, it doesn't tell you where it's wrong. And when I'm working with people on their first day, I'm examining them and they're pointing to knee pain somewhere, and I'm checking all these things in their ankle and hip and foot and lower back, and they keep saying, no, it's right there. I'm like, I got that. I'm understanding why you have that. And again, all pain does is tell you, in fact, more often than not, the problem is not where your pain is. The pain is the area, the soreness that's being overused or overworked, trying to make up for your problem, and your problem is silent. And that's why when someone asks me on the phone, what should I do because my shoulder hurts, I really don't know. But usually what I do talk about is posture habits, because that is universal, and that can help. And also, I guess I'll touch on shoe wear briefly, because I actually think that it's a pretty controversial topic, and you can go all kinds of different places and hear different things. And I've been studying it in the clinic, and I've also been reading the latest research about it. And I won't say all my opinions on it necessarily, but I'll say that most often the best shoe is a cushion shoe. That's what the research shows. That's unbiased. So just kind of an FYI on that. And as far as other postural things, how you carry yourself through the rest of your life is important too. If you can't extend your upper back to get the shoulder motion, if you're slouched at the computer all day, that might contribute to it. And so posture is not just while you're doing your thing. It's a lifelong thing, at least while you're in training. If you're walking around with good posture, staying with good posture, your abs will be engaged like they should be while you're running. And if they're not, if you're slouching too much, you're not standing up straight, that can affect you. And the same thing with cycling. So that's something else to keep in mind. And as far as specific injuries and specific problems, specific pain, IT band, I'll talk about that, because that comes up a lot, and it's a problem. What's important to understand about the IT band, we all know it's a band of connective tissue that runs between here and here. But like every band of, it's not even muscle, it's just connective tissue. It doesn't do anything unless something's acted upon it, something's happening to it. And it starts out as two muscles in your hip. This muscle here, this muscle here, tensor fasciae lata and gluteus medius. And if you have IT band problems, the first thing to do is look at the hip joint, because if something's wrong with the hip joint, that is the most often reason why these muscles would go bad for some reason. And or in strength too. And when they don't run correctly in this plane, if they allow too much motion this way, or if they do this thing when they run, that can lead to a weakness here, which can eventually lead to IT band pain problems and tightness. Typically, people think IT band, think of knee, because it inserts down here on the outside of your knee, and outside knee pain is one symptom of IT band problems. But the cause is usually more higher up. And there's also a quad muscle and a hamstring muscle that run pretty close to the IT band too, primarily about your outside quad muscle. Quad problems can lead to IT band tightness, which can lead to IT band pain. But the IT band itself is just it's just a player. It doesn't really do anything. It is acted upon by the forces around it. And so it's blamed a lot when, yeah, it is tight and painful, but it's only doing that because of other things. And so most of my IT band problems are treated at the hip primarily, but also running form, shoe wear, and all those things matter a lot too. Anyone ever use a foam roller? Yeah, I'm a big fan. Every runner should have a foam roller. They are a way to do a really deep and sometimes painful soft tissue mobilization to primarily the outside part of your leg. Just a quick caution on that though, you don't want to roll any higher than here, because you have a bursa right here that you can make really angry if it rubs up here too long. And you also don't want to cross the outside of the knee joint, there's bursa down there too. So just above your knee to just below your hip. And even when you have IT band problems and you get the other stuff resolved, the IT band can remain tight. And that can, it's actually not correct to say loosen it, but it can make it function better. And then you can also roll your calves, quads, hamstrings are more difficult, but I'm a big fan of that roller. It's 10 times more powerful than the stick is. And I should have brought that up sooner. As far as we all know that we're supposed to warm up and stretch before running, right? I mean, in general. But so many people forget that we're supposed to do the same warm-ups and activity before biking and before swimming. And a lot of times we don't. We just jump on our bikes and go. Or we're jumping in the water and go. I see it even on the golf course. I mean, for most sports, we warm up and do things, and people hop out of their car and throw their cart and walk up the first tee, and bam, and they wonder why their back hurts. There's certain sports that we know we should warm up for. Everybody does for baseball and softball and tennis, but we don't for other sports. And it seems like swimming and cycling are two that we don't warm up for. Now, as far as stretching goes, generally the long, sustained holds before we run is typically not endorsed at this point. It's typically more of a shorter, quick, dynamic bursts. The most important thing actually is you increase your body temperature. Stretching isn't necessarily that important before you do something. What's most important is you increase your body temperature. They say 2 degrees, but you probably don't have a thermometer. You should break a little bit of a sweat. You should feel warm before you go do your activity. And you can get that through stretching, holding 5 seconds, 10 seconds through your whole body. That will increase your temperature. Little jogs or movements or bounces, or just different things people do. I don't really care. I just care that you're increasing your body temperature and getting ready to go. And then afterwards, cool down, stretching is great. And that's actually when you get your most gains and your most length of the muscle is when you're post-activity. And also that helps prevent tightness later, helps prevent injury on your next run. Really good things to do. And that you can do more 30-second, minute-long stretches at that point. And as far as strengthening goes too, I mean, absolutely. It's a good idea if you're just swimming. I mean, there's certain muscles that are used in swimming, but you shouldn't just be using those. You could develop an imbalance. So it's a really good idea to be doing a total body program once a week, getting the muscles you're not using swimming and biking and running. So a little cross training is a really good idea. Obviously, and this goes without saying. But even all the muscles, your arms and legs, and in general, a nice cross training that way really does help prevent injury also. As far as the stretching goes, the warm up's the most important part.
I was just gonna say, I have a favorite dynamic warm up. I guess I can use for running the bike, the lunge matrix. Where you lunge out forward and you lunge out to the side. I don't know if anyone really knows what that means, but
you're just kind of contributing just a different thing. Yeah, go right ahead.
Or do you want to demonstrate?
Well,
I mean,
it's what you do, right?
I can show.
Yeah, please.
And physical therapists helped me out with this because really wanted to warm up all the hip area and the lateral areas, and it's helped me out a lot. But okay, there we go. Maybe get my arms into it, but you just if you have bad knees, kind of watch out a little bit. Put down 2 feet. You're just gonna lunge maybe 5 times on each leg, one out to the front, and you're gonna bring it into the side. And bring those arms up, really opening up the core, and then you're gonna kind of tilt back, rotate a little bit to the back. So you do about 5. You're gonna mix it up, but it's the quick movements that you're gonna need, for the run and the bike. So get those hip flexors ready as well. Use the other leg, side. I don't know if you want to add anything to that for the.
Well, the nice thing about it too is that is a nice warm up. It's getting it's really getting just about every muscle in the legs, but it's also she's also warming up her upper body, and she's expanding her rib cage, she's expanding her diaphragm, she's putting a stretch through there, the breathing muscles, and that can be overemphasized. That's really important too. So that is one example of 100 really good things to do, and that's definitely one of them. So thank you for that.
How long do you do that?
Well, I would say if you're not used to doing lunges, I wouldn't do too much more than maybe 3 to 5 per leg. But since I'm kind of used to it, I might actually get up to about 10, or you could do maybe a couple rounds, 2 rounds, just till I feel warm and like I'm ready to, start jogging slow, warm up slowly, but.
As you have telefemoral problems, pain in the front of the knee, ease into that. Don't go down too far right away. You get a sharp pain in the middle of the day. So, but there's always things to watch for different things. But that's definitely a really good one. But warm up is very, very important. Anything else? I think I'm pretty much out of time.